The Howling Symphony, Redemption. Raven stood in front of the mirror, her breath shallow. The glowing yellow eyes staring back at her were no longer human. The bite wound on her neck pulsed like a second heartbeat, radiating an unfamiliar energy. She could feel the beast inside her, waiting to be unleashed. The first nights were the worst. Her body burned, her bones felt like they were twisting, stretching, breaking. Sleepless, she wandered through her apartment, sweating, trembling, fighting against the inevitable. But it wasn't just the pain of transformation, it was the fear of losing herself. Yet, music kept her alive. Every time she played, she felt like herself again. Her bandmates noticed the change, her energy on stage was wilder. Raw, almost animalistic. But no one asked questions. Not even when her eyes sometimes flickered with an eerie glow under the stage lights. Then came the night of the full moon. The pain was overwhelming, but this time she let it in. No fear, no panic. She embraced the change. Bones cracked, muscles expanded, silver fur spread across her skin. With one final ragged scream, she fell onto all fours, no longer Raven, but the Wolf. But she didn't lose herself. She ran through the streets, feeling the wind in her fur, the freedom coursing through her veins. And then, in a dark alley, he was waiting. The man from that night, the one who had turned her. "You've changed."
His gaze was curious, maybe even admiring.
Raven growled. But deep down she knew she was not like him. She was not just a predator. She was a musician, an artist, a fighter. In the distance, she heard a familiar sound. Her band was playing without her. Without hesitation, she turned and ran. Back to her life, back to the stage, back to the one thing that had always kept her grounded. As she shifted back, she stood behind the stage, panting, her heart pounding. Her bandmates stared at her in surprise, but no one said a word. She grabbed her guitar, the cool metal familiar in her hands. Then she stepped into the light. The crowd roared. The energy was electric. Raven knew she had changed, but this wasn't the end. This was a new beginning. The moon would always call. But now she knew she didn't have to fear it. She was Raven and no one would define her life but herself.